Hello, everybody, and welcome to
Unbothered by ThaiRivera.
Must have got something in my throat. Okay, I know I said I was going to be doing a solo episode, but I lied to you.
Dun, dun, dun.
It happens sometimes. I lie, Carmen. I'll
Uh-oh.
admit it.
Do you?
Oops. I just let the cat out of the bag. They didn't know it was Carmen until just right now. This is Carmen Morales, everybody. If you don't know her from regular life, you remember her from episode 1.
Of Unbothered by ThaiRivera.
She's super obnoxious today. So,
And every day.
yeah, but today you're on a high.
Yeah. I am.
I just thought about that after, but I didn't mean like that, but you are, and so am I.
Woo! Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So here's the deal.
What happened?
This is what
Let's
I'll
talk
start
about
off with. I'm gonna have to be completely sober for at least a month.
Oh, why? What's going on? What are you doing?
Just because, I do this every once in a while and just get my mind together
Yeah.
and really, hit the gym and do all the stuff that I need to do.
Living clean.
I do have to, because, see, here's the deal. I will hang out and smoke weed for a little while I'm coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
And then once I have the ideas and now it's time to do the work and cut the fat off of them and figure out where the real just joke is, bare bones joke, then I almost have to live that kind of lifestyle too, where it's kind of bare bones, because my diet is very restrictive, or
Yeah.
I eat enough, but it's just not stuff people want to eat.
Yeah,
a
just
lot
like
of spinach
lettuce and chicken.
yeah, that's really what it is. Yeah, people don't realize how disciplined I am when I'm really being disciplined. So it's time to go into another one of those, and that will start immediately after I'm done in Arizona this weekend.
You should do like a Facebook Live thing of like your progress for the whole month.
I
That could be
might.
like a campaign.
I
you know?
might, yeah, I might, because it's something I do every once in a while, and right now I have exciting stuff happening. Just to wrap everybody up on, like last week. Last week I had posted that the Talking Shit episode, the special Talking Shit episode. This is episode 11, by the way, for anybody keeping track.
Oh, shit.
Episode 11. Episode 10 was a surprise Talking Shit episode because somebody had called me out and I wanted to expose them for being a liar or a not honest person. And so, the reason that was important to me is because people don't understand the way that a lot of people have lied about me in different situations.
Right.
And I already know that I have a strong personality, and sometimes, public opinion isn't going to side with me because people see me as heartless in a lot of cases. I know that's what people think about me.
How could you be so heartless?
I hate you so much. I really do hate you. So some people see me that way, but that's only the perception of people on Facebook that have never met me in real life.
But I feel like, and I've talked to people about this, I feel like a lot of times some of your stuff, like hearing you say it and hearing something from your voice is way different than reading it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's a lot of it. I think you get misinterpreted a lot of times. Because, like, I can read it because I know you well enough to hear it in your voice, and know when you're just being a jerk to be funny or if you're just being a jerk.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing about me is I don't mind if friends of mine even describe me as being an asshole. To me, that's an honest description of kind of the way I am a lot of times. But not even in a real legit asshole way. Everything I do is very logical in the way that I'm not just getting upset with people out of nowhere. I don't have time for unnecessary drama. It's just kind of like, technically I didn't even realize that was going to be a thing. I thought I was just being stupid on Facebook. And since we know each other in real life and he pretends to be a fan of mine and like what I do, that he would take it as like, kind of an asshole joke, say something quippy and funny back, not something serious and try to be, because the worst part was, like, I commented to him being funny, asshole me, and then he comments to me on some like deeper shit that he doesn't even have a good read on because he doesn't know me. You know, he doesn't know me like that. So
Right.
it was kind of like, one, you're completely off topic or completely off what we're trying to do, and two, your assessment isn't even correct. So why would I, play with you? So I went like straight for the and I have a good way of knowing what the truth is about people. Like I knew that he's a fraud. And
Where do you
so-
think you get that from? Like knowing who to be suspicious of?
Because I started off life as very open to everybody and everything, and I saw like kind of the way certain personalities worked. I used to be open with everybody, and it's not like I'm closed now. I mean, like I meet friends and right away take to them, and but I also feel like I can trust my judgment on that too. Also, the fact that it's not hard for me to say no to people or be assertive.
Right.
Like that's very helpful in like actually getting or knowing who's worth even getting to know. Because some people will start off by pushing your boundaries. Terrible way to start a friendship, or just be cool at first, and then
That's like a funny, like how like chicks do with dudes. Like they slowly leak out the crazy the longer you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and with me, the way I work, I'm sure you've seen, is it's very what you see is what you get. Like,
Right.
I'm always going to let you know what I'm feeling at that moment, and sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with the people around me. Sometimes I just don't want to be around people or really talk to anybody because I've got shit on my mind that I need to be working out. Sometimes it's material. Like a lot of times people get mad at me when we're in conversation and I kind of drift off, and they treat me like I'm being rude, but I'm not being rude at all. I just got a joke or a thought that popped in my head.
Yeah, you
that's
got to
gonna
go
be a
down that
joke.
rabbit hole with that thought to get to it.
Yeah, and right now your voice isn't more important. You know what I mean? Like right now, this joke, this thought idea is what I need to really
Think about.
really work on. Yeah, I don't need to hear your mundane story about being at Ralph's today.
Well, you could let them know. You could be like, wait 1 second, and then think it out, so they're not just talking to you while you're not even there.
But I think they should be able to tell that I've just checked out, and you can keep talking if you want to. Because really,
And
a lot of
sometimes
times when
you
people
just
are
wanna get
talking,
it all
it's
out.
venting
Yeah.
more. Like that's why I don't mind when people do it to me. I notice friends do it to me. I just don't call them out because I don't care.
Right.
Because
You still wanted to say it.
yeah, and I don't really need them. Like I was gonna say this anyway. It's like
Either to Bijou or to a human being, but
Yeah.
somebody's gonna hear about it.
But if it's something that I think they need to know, then I'll pause. But like I just do that from seeing them. I can tell you've tuned out. You must have another thought or whatever. And you can also see people snap out of it. You don't even have to pay attention to them. You can just keep walking or doing whatever you're doing, and then you see them snap out of it, and you're like, okay, I wanted to tell you this. And
Oh, okay. Yeah.
what's so important anyway that I've got to hear? That any of us have to hear, really, when it comes to other
I
people.
guess like if people are dead or not. That seems like it'd be important to hear.
Yeah, but enough about Gene Wilder. I love Gene Wilder.
I do too.
Yeah, stir crazy, and I remember him from Eddie Murphy movies, even
Yeah.
though but like I love Gene Wilder. I thought he was great.
Yeah, he played madness really well, and he was always like the character that was super grounded.
I
always felt
love
like
in Stir Crazy when they were trying to torture him and everything he just felt great about. You remember? Like they put him in solitary and he was like, oh, it's just so good to have alone time or whatever he said. And then they that was Stir Crazy, right?
I can't remember.
I think it was. If not, somebody will correct me. There's enough trolls that'll be like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That wasn't Stir Crazy. I'm a Gene Wilder fan. I'm the biggest Gene Wilder fan ever. Fuck you, faggot. I said it. Oh,
I'm glad you already went down this entire argument that hasn't happened yet.
I know what's going to happen. These trolls are very predictable.
I think your transition is happening, like it's getting more and more effective because you're starting to like think like a woman. You know what I mean? Where
Are
it's
you
not
implying
linearly.
that I'm not already a woman?
No, but you're.
This
who's,
is very
hold on,
transphobic.
whoa,
I'm
whoa,
uncomfortable.
whoa, whoa,
Safe
whoa.
space.
Hold on.
Safe space.
Whoa. I didn't know where you were at in your transition process. Are you done already?
I was born a woman.
Okay. But you haven't been like being a woman that long though.
I've been a woman my whole life.
Your whole okay.
I've just been trapped in this beautiful male body.
This incredibly sculpted male body.
Over.
You just get more and more graphic describing yourself.
You don't know what it's been like. But anyway, so what were we talking about? Certain things I have to mention. I just want to make sure that I get it out because I told people I was going to be doing a solo, and then I asked them for like their suggestions, and people mentioned Colin Kaepernick, which I know you don't know the most about.
Mm-mm.
He stayed sitting through the national anthem, and
he's like an athlete.
yeah, he's a football player. 49ers.
Is he a good one? Like, is that why he's getting this press for it, or is he not good, and that's why he's getting his press because he's probably not going to be here for another few
sports,
years?
so I guess it depends on who you ask. I'm sure there's some people that love him or whatever. I think he was good like 2 years ago. I don't know a lot from friends. I've heard that it was probably more of an attention thing because he hasn't been doing too much on the field.
Oh,
I don't know if that's
okay.
just shit talking because they don't like him or his team or and I've also read quite a few people saying that he's cocky or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, here's my point about it. People asked me how I felt, and I looked into it a little bit, obviously, but not too much. And the way I feel about it, I know it was because he was standing up for, or standing up against, ironically enough, by sitting down during, but he was standing up for people that, kind of like, not Black Lives Matters, but how did he word it? I just don't want to word it the wrong way. Because our country has oppression or oppresses black people
Right.
and people of color. Like, that's why it was his.
So what? So he
Statement.
protested. Big deal. I don't see why are we talking about? I mean, why is this a thing?
Well, people feel. Here's why it's a thing.
Okay.
For me, it's not really a thing. Well, I could have gone with the it's a thing thinking, but I decided to push past that was what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really do love my country, as cheesy as that sounds. I love being from this country. I love everything about this country.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things we need to work on or whatever, but like
Sure.
as far as what we are, I love that. So I would always stand. That would be what
Right.
I would do. But I understand if people don't do things just like me. The thing that Colin Kaepernick needs to remember is that football is an all-American sport. So the demographic that's going to attract is going to look at you not standing for the national anthem as a fuck you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what it was, right? It's like a nonverbal way of saying that. Did he say what? Like he just. What did he make a statement about it afterwards?
He did make a statement about it, but I didn't write it down because I didn't think you were going to grill me like
I'm sorry.
this.
I just didn't know if so he just said it was, standing up because this country is oppressive and yeah, so like what?
This country has been oppressive. What had you standing up all the other times? That's real. How many times has this happened where he's just stood up like everybody else? And now this is a thing, which cool. If you're going to make it your thing, then make it your thing. I'm completely fine with that. This is
my thing,
point.
Though. If you're going to
I'm
do
fine with
that, if you care that much to do that, like, are you helping too, though?
Well, that's the same conversation I had this morning with my friend Renee. Like, are you helping out inner city schools? Are you donating money to Big Brothers? Or are you helping out in any way? Or did you just decide to sit down through the national anthem? Are you really helping your community? Are you an activist? What are you doing in the off season? Because I haven't heard a lot about your activism.
Yeah, I mean...
And I do kind of pay attention to the activism because I hate it.
I understand if you want to make a statement, but if you want
I do kind of pay attention to activism because I hate it. Yeah. It gets in my way. Stop clogging up traffic and whatever the fuck else you're doing. over your goddamn causes. I got places to be.
Oh, where are you going?
Tucson this weekend, if you must know.
Arizona.
But just in general, I have places to be. Like, I hate when people think their idea of a protest is to clog up the 101 or like some of this shit people are trying to do.
Right.
It's like, no, you don't stop me from going where I have to go. I understand people are dead. They're dead. Making me late to what I've got to be to, not cool. I'm still alive. I got bills to pay.
I'm still alive.
I got bills to pay. Just like I respect they're dead, you respect I'm alive.
Did that happen here? When did they clog up the 101?
Maybe it was the 110 or downtown. There was a thing here in LA, yeah, where there were, and I remember it like was.
Well, isn't that part of it? Like, you block it off so people get mad and cause an uproar, so then the government has to like respond to that.
I don't give a fuck what their thinking is. I don't like on that. I don't care. Like, don't stop me from getting to where I need to be. That's the way I feel. Like when people just mow through these crowds, I'm 100% in support of that. I wish.
Damn.
I am. I wish that was legal. I wish it was completely legal in those people, because it's not fair to stop people. In some cases, it's been ambulances. That's just not the way you make your point. You don't know what I have going and what you're fucking up for me right now, but you've decided, and in a lot of cases what bothers me, and this is something that does piss people off, but here we are, is when it comes to Black Lives Matters, they don't pick the people, they don't pick their poster boys well. They just don't. You know, like Mike Brown, we were all supposed to gather around and feel like Mike Brown was a tragedy? No, fuck that. And I'm not going to just because somebody tells me that I'm a racist if I don't. That's one thing I hate about the way people handle everything right now. If you don't agree with them on certain things, you're automatically racist. You're automatically a bigot. You're automatically this. No other thought to it. No other thought to the fact that I wouldn't support that behavior in my own community. Like, you know, from my own people.
Right.
Like if it were a Mexican that got shot for being like Mike Brown, I'd be like, that's what happens. So no, you want equality? I care about you just as little as I do everybody else.
Yeah, but that's your angle though, right? Isn't it?
It's not an angle. This is my personality.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't have an angle.
Not your angle, but your personality is IDGAFMFR.
But at the same time, I do care because, like, when it comes down to it, I agree with the principle of Black Lives, or the name itself in its most literal form, I do agree with.
Right.
Like, definitely, Black lives do matter. And when this stuff happens, like, it especially hit me with Philando. Because Philando was one that I think was really mishandled by, well, it wasn't even Black Lives Matter people. You can't blame them for the fact that that guy went crazy in Dallas. But it just took all of the momentum that the Philando, or a lot of the momentum, not all of it, but the momentum that the Philando situation was causing, or was creating. Because with Philando, from what we had gathered so far, he had done everything the way he was supposed to. And then also with the footage of his girlfriend, you know, when she was Facebook Living what was going on, she was completely compliant. And at least in the beginning, I don't know what's developed since then, but at least in the beginning, that looked like the textbook case of people doing the right thing and still getting shot.
Yeah.
So and that one really drove home for me, because there's certain friends I have that look like thugs, like to the outside world they would be thugs. Like I mention them all the time. I'm in love with them. I think they're great. So funny. DeMar Randy and Jamar Neighbors. Like, I'm sure if a cop looks at them and has that racist mind, they are the kind of thugs that the cops are looking for. Never mind the fact that they're not thugs, you know? But that's just what the racist mind would see.
That's how they racistly profile them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so knowing this, I would like to be able to be part of a movement or an idea that helps safeguard my friends, or at least give them the same chance the rest of us have.
Right.
But it's just with the tactics they use, I can't get behind it. It's like, it really is supporting bad behavior to me, and I wouldn't put up with that from anybody.
So what would you have them do? Like, what do you think would be like a better way to approach it, or better tactics?
have already mentioned that I think that they really need to take all of the numbers of like, where it's happening to everybody. Like that's a more effective way to go at it to me. Is you create a hysteria and you make it seem like it could happen to anybody. It's all of our rights being violated, that kind of thing.
Right.
Not
just one particular people's rights.
And I understand that there is like there are people that want some sort of like reparations, for lack of a better term, or something like that from the police. But in a lot of cases, you're not going to get that. That's just the way people are. Like
they usually don't have the money anyways. Like
well,
they're broken.
No, but like I don't even mean money. Like that's the part that I don't really get myself with what like Black Lives Matter people want. Like if you want for the death to stop, or these people being killed to stop, then I can understand that. I can support that. But it seems like there's a lot of extra involved with it, where it's almost like you want it to be like the laws are different for black people, and that's not the way things work. Like very simple things. Like you look at some of them, some people just didn't want to give up ID. And it's like, we all know when the cops ask for your ID, you give your ID.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you give your ID? So right there, you're already starting off on a shitty note. I can't support you because I would have given up my ID and made that so it wasn't an issue.
Do you have to give it to him by law?
That I'm not 100% sure on. I read that, I remember reading somewhere at some point when I was younger that you had to have your ID on you by law.
Oh. Well, because if it's not against the rules, I could see why you wouldn't want to have to just give them your ID for no reason. Because, then why are they bothering you? Why are they stopping you at all? Just to see if you have an ID? Like, what kind of hall monitor bullshit is that?
Yeah, but my life just needs to keep moving, so I just give up my ID. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I'm a good person.
Yeah.
I'm clean. Go ahead, run it. Get the fuck out of my face. Whatever. I mean, because they're not asking for ID out of nowhere. It's like something has gone wrong first. There's a reason why they're asking for ID. It's not like just asking for ID out of nowhere just to make sure they're a citizen or something. So, like, if you've already done something wrong or you're in a car, I mean, like, that's another time, like, because driving is a privilege and not a right, you do have to have a license.
Yeah.
So at that point, they have a right to ask, do you have a license to drive this vehicle? There was that one where the guy wouldn't give up his ID, and I saw the video of this one, and then he tried to drive off, but in driving off, he swerved into the cop a little bit.
Oh, no.
So then the cop shot him. You know what I mean? And that's what I saw with my own eyes. So it's like, really, it's tragic that it happened that way, but you appeared to be on something because, there was the camera or whatever. You appeared to be on something. You're not being cooperative, and then what could be construed as tried to run the cop down, and so he shot at you. You're a danger if you do keep driving. What if you keep driving and mow some people down because you're drunk or on whatever, don't have a license? How is this all of a sudden a situation where I'm supposed to support this behavior? That's what I don't understand from people. So I get tired of, like I said, they don't pick the right poster boys, so that gets on my nerves. Then it's the tactic of trying to block the freeways. They tried to do that in Phoenix. They tried to block the 10, but Arizona does not put up with that shit at all.
What did they do?
Oh, they just snatched them. They did, what's it called? Pepper spray. They,
Oh, wow, and it dissipated everybody?
Yeah, and started, one guy I saw they took down and took in. I don't know what he did. He was on a bike, but there was footage of it on the local news. I saw a clip. But they just all the way, that some people, they would I don't know if they full on arrested them or just put them in cuffs, but you saw that too. It's just don't. Traffic's already bad enough everywhere. We don't need that. It's not helping. And then when they interrupted the Bernie thing, I think they did a lot to do Bernie in, because I know people like me, once he lost control of that situation, I felt like, nope, that man's not good for leading the country. And I'm not saying everybody felt that way. I'm not saying everybody should have felt that way. I'm just saying that I've spoken with other people that had the same thinking that I did, that if he can't control a crowd, he can't
control a country.
Yeah. So And then they also, some people acting on behalf of Black Lives Matter, or a person acting on behalf of Black Lives Matter, interrupted Hillary at a point. So it's like if everybody agrees that it's best for black people to have a Democrat in office, but you go after the two candidates or potential, or the two candidates that you have, then what's happening? What are you doing?
Right. Well, I think they also just wanted to get some direct answers as far as if their issues were going to be addressed. And I mean, it was probably a bit more of an aggressive approach than they should have gone, because it did make the candidates look weaker in dealing with it.
Yeah.
But,
See, but these are things you have to think about, and you have to think, am I being selfish right now? Am I taking down something that might be more important to me to do this right now? Is there another way I can do this? That's why I say I can't support it, because they don't think about these things, or don't appear to think about these things. And a lot of resentments end up getting built up because a lot of people feel like, why do they have to be everywhere and so annoying? And whether people say, well, there's people dying and whatever, it's like, clearly we don't fucking care about that like that. I mean, like, to be honest, a lot of us just don't. Like, when it's bad behavior and that's what's killing a fair amount of people, like, I don't argue with people with guns. That's the way I live my life.
How do you know if they have a gun or not?
A cop?
Oh, I see.
I know they've got a gun.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
every once in a while I'll get into it with the cop, or get sassy with the cop, or however you want to put it. Like that I will do. But after I've done everything and that cop knows that I am, hey, I already gave you my ID. I gave you my insurance for my car. I gave you everything. Basically our business is done. I've already proven I'm legit. I'm a productive member of society. Let me, either give me a ticket and send me on my way. But like, yeah, after all that's done, you can talk to them however you want to talk to them. But like before all that, or when there's some kind of bullshit going on, it's like,
So you could be sassy and compliant. That's like the only way to do it.
Yeah. And if people can't figure this out, or like, I feel like it's evolution. If people can't figure this out, they just weren't meant to move on. You don't make it to the next level. Sorry.
Is it?
I hope.
Oh my gracious.
I know, and I know a lot of people would like think that this is like heartless thinking or whatever. But like I said, it isn't for me. I won't listen when people try to call me racist over this, because I will tell you over and over, I wouldn't care whose people it was that were doing this. I wouldn't care if it was my own. I wouldn't care if they were gay and Mexican and look Asian. I don't care if they were my exact demographic. Like, I still would just be like, yeah, I can't support that behavior. So, I mean, like, it's tragic. It's too bad. But I'm just not gonna.
But then how do we fix things, man?
Well, eventually all the dumb people die off, and then we're just left with the people that know how to act, and we all love living together.
Man, that sounds nice.
The only thing that could be better, like, is if the cop had some kind of device on him that maybe they could have a control room where they're deciding minute by minute, like if everything the cop's doing is legal, and if the cop does something that isn't legal, then he just explodes at the same time.
His vest just turns into a bomb.
Yeah, so then we got rid of two stupids
Holy
instead of just one.
What? Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to get that passed through our government as an option. I mean, maybe if Trump gets elected, maybe you could pitch that as an idea.
Well,
He is the candidate most likely to be on board with it.
I love Trump. I'm going to the rally tomorrow.
Oh, really? Are they going to let you in?
Girl, you should see how nice people were to me at the last Trump rally. They loved me. We were talking to old white people. Yeah, it was good. But so I guess maybe people will have questions on Black Lives Matter, and I don't mind talking about this. Eventually, I plan to have Aston, I think, is going to be coming in, or maybe I'll do it like a live version at Trapped with Comics.
Okay.
Which is a show, if anybody's interested. That's a show / open mic that's at the Lexington every Sunday. It starts at 5 p.m. So if you guys are just finishing brunch in downtown or want to do something fun and Sunday fun day,
Sunday fun day. Oh my God.
go to Lexington, 3rd and Los Angeles, and go check out Trapped with Comics. I just wanted to put that out there because I was there the other day, and Aston was the host. This guy Aston, and he's black, and he's involved with Black Lives Matter, and has done some stuff with Black Lives Matter, so he wants to chat with me about it.
Oh, cool.
And I think it would be good for me to just take my stuff over to Lexington, and we do it right there on the patio.
Yeah, that would be cool because it's a tight little area.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to get his perspective to just discuss it with,
Yeah, and I don't mind people asking me about any of this stuff. I just hate that it's dumb to me. Here's what I was trying to get, how I'll relate it to the Colin Kaepernick thing, is people always want to assign their value to certain things when they don't understand that certain people just don't see it that way. Like, some people may see it as a fuck you that he wasn't standing up.
Right.
But maybe in his head he doesn't see it so much as a fuck you as much as it's a we need to talk. Like when you're mad at a partner.
Okay, what's going on, honey?
Yeah.
What's the
Why
matter?
aren't you standing?
Yeah.
Why don't you always stand? So maybe people should give him the benefit of the doubt in that way and not necessarily just assume that he needs to move to another country or some of the stuff that he was saying. I can definitely understand how some people...
Well, isn't that just them being racist too then? Like, just because so he needs to go to another country because he didn't...
I don't think that really has to do with racism, though.
No?
I think that's more just silly American, like some of the silly...
like overly
patriotic.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, silly, overly patriotic American type of thinking. Like, if you don't like it, then you have to leave. Well, there's things we can work on too.
Yeah,
like there's give and take. Like so it doesn't have to go all the way to that. But
right.
Definitely a right to ask questions and probe. I don't care what line anybody's in. I don't think that they deserve to not be able to make a living because they took a stand, even if it's an unpopular stand.
Right.
Which is the way everybody seems to be doing everything now. Oh, you did this? You said this? Well, we have to pull your TV show now. You did this? Oh, well, we have to make it so you can't get on shows now. It's like everything's just supposed to be a career-ending moment, and it all just seems dramatic and like...
I just miss the time when entertainers just got to be entertainers, and we didn't have to comment on all social issues and everything and be like judged for it constantly. I feel like it didn't used to be that. That's why like tabloids and stuff like that it was all just about like, oh, look at what this person looks like, look at who they're dating, who they're fucking, all this other stuff. And now it's like, oh, this person feels like this about this incident. Like,
I really don't feel like I need to see that. And I feel like I feel the same way you do. Like, I wish Britney Spears, I didn't know the behind the scenes on Britney Spears.
Right.
I wish I could just appreciate her as Britney Spears, the girl who dances and, lip syncs and does pretty stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because it was like, nobody went to school to be an expert on social issues. Nobody has a poli-sci, political science degree, but now all of a sudden, their opinions matter so much all of a sudden. I don't understand. I don't see why.
Yeah, it's really started to hurt comedy, like stand-up, or open mics. Last night I did a joke about feminism, and this girl, started to go into a joke or something I'm working on with feminism, and this girl said boo while I was doing it. And she herself is a comic. had done the open mic, like a couple before me. And the worst part about it was, at a point, she said something that some people in the room were kind of trying to act like was unpopular or like kind of weird, because she said that she doesn't really trust male feminists, or she doesn't really like male feminists. I don't remember which word she used, but it was something
Along those lines,
yeah.
right.
And I was waiting to buy my drink, because you have to buy a drink in order to get, the ticket to go up.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, really? Nobody else feels that way? And I agree with the statement either way.
Right.
So I started clapping, and she was like, and then a couple other people clapped, and I kind of helped breathe life into her set. So then to have her, like 2 comics later, boo me when I hadn't even got to the actual, because everything I'm doing right now has more of a backstory. So I'll say something that sounds somewhat inflammatory, and then
you let him in on the him in on the story.
Yeah, and so
you perk their ears. Where they're like, "What did you just say?" And then you hear the story and get your point of view.
Yeah, and I'm working on that at the open mics, like trying to figure out exactly what I'm doing with it or how I'm doing it.
Right.
And then I get a boo from another comic, and it's like, why the fuck do you think your opinion matters this much? Like, why do you think I'm supposed to completely stay away from that chain of thought, that concept, that idea, because you're uncomfortable with it or you don't like where you think it's going? You don't even know where it's going, and you're already offended.
Yeah.
Just, am I not allowed to mention feminism? Am I not allowed to mention women? What exactly am I allowed to say anymore? Which I noticed from a lot of people. Everything's supposed to be like, I'm supposed to care about everything. And I don't feel like anybody should have to care about everything. Like that stuff that happened, did you see about Chris Rock and Delta Airlines?
No, what happened with Chris Rock?
Okay, Chris Rock, what happened was there's a gay guy that works for Grindr. He was watching the Chris Rock special from 2008 on a flight from Delta, or a flight with Delta. He ended up, the Chris Rock special says the word faggot in it a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times. I didn't even bother to get a refresher on it or whatever.
Right.
But so this guy got offended and he hit Delta up and he had Delta pull it, and so.
What? Why? Now you can't. Why?
Because it's offensive to people that fags or fags that don't matter. Because it's offensive to some Grindr fag, which like everybody knows I'm on Grindr and I post my pics from Grindr and stuff.
Yeah.
But what Grindr has done to speed up STD transmission within the gay community is far more hurtful than the number of times that Chris Rock has said fag in all of his specials combined.
That's cold.
It's true. Like, you see people all the time put party and play. There's people on PrEP that are letting everybody fuck them with no condoms and not paying attention to the fact that, there's other STDs than AIDS.
Yeah.
That's
a
not...
lot of them, actually.
Yeah, and stuff that, to me, like, has more, I guess you would say, annoying effects.
Yeah.
So, there's stuff that's also...
That's it, but that doesn't even make any sense. Because the special was from years ago.
Well, see, that's...
So it's just because but he didn't have to watch it.
Well, that's...
And when he said it the first time, he could have just turned it off. Like, so that means no one else... I mean, I know Chris Rock isn't homophobic, like, or hate gay people, like...
Well, that's what it even says in the article I read about it, that like in the special, because like I said, I didn't refresh myself,
right.
But like it said that in the special, Chris Rock says that he likes his gay friends, or he or he knows gay people, or is it not but something like that, you know
right.
what I mean? So something positive. So it's like, it was just weird to me that people keep trying to make a big thing of everything. So I want to see the gay community humbled. And that's pissed a few of my gay friends off, because I said yesterday on Facebook that I hope gay marriage gets overturned under our next president so that these gay people can learn their lesson.
Why?
Because it's all gotten too ridiculous. I'm tired of having to tiptoe around your gay-ass feelings. I'm gay too. Get over it. A lot of this shit doesn't fucking matter. The big deals that people are making, not doing it with you. Tranny is supposed to be the worst word in the world. Nope, not doing it with you. Any of this shit that people are trying to pull, just it's not legit. You don't even have to worry about the words people say. You worry about the context in which they say them, the tone that they say them in, the inflection that they use. Be a smart person. Don't have to go off of words. That's why you're getting triggered by words, because you can't tell the difference between when someone's being friendly and when somebody's being an asshole.
Yeah.
Because I've had both, and I definitely know both. Like, it happened to me in Santa Clara? Or you know where I'm talking about? It's up near the Bay. I did a comedy festival there last year.
Santa Clarita?
Is it Santa Clarita that's up near the Bay?
I don't know.
They did a comedy anyway, there's a comedy festival there. It's Northern California somewhere. And my friend DNA puts it on. What's up, DNA? Sorry, I forgot what the name of the city is. I'm just bad. There's a lot of Santas around here. I'm in California. Well, you are too. You get it. So anyway, so all my friends use the word fag all the time. I don't care. I don't get offended or whatever. Mm. So then
you can tell a difference between...
Yeah, I walk outside of this bar because I was doing that show, and I walk outside of this bar, and there's a motorcycle gang. And I mean, like, legit old school looking.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, and so I walk out, and then one of the guys goes, yeah, fucking fag with tattoos right there. And then I was like, nope, I don't need to be outside right now. Let me turn right back around, go back in this bar, because clearly that was not meant in a friendly way. Actually, if I were to walk outside, this is why I tell people, like, I don't know why people want so bad to be brave in times when you don't have to. Uh-huh. Like, some people would see it as a statement, like, I'm just going to walk out there anyway and show them that their hate isn't going back inside the fucking bar. I don't need this shit in my night.
Well, that would be the thing. I mean, if you...
You be brave when your back is
consider...
against the wall. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel like. You be brave, like, if they come in and you have no choice but to deal with them, then it's time to be brave.
Right.
But, like, being brave is not antagonize. Even if just being you is antagonizing them and you feel like that's an infringement on your rights. If you want to walk out there, you walk out there and make your little statement. But if you get beat up, I'm not going to feel bad for you. I mean, I might feel bad for you, but I'm not going to be like, you know, oh, this was completely... No, you should have stayed your ass inside.
Right. Damn. Did they go inside? Did they, like, bother you? Okay.
No, it wasn't even... Like, the way I felt about it was it clearly could have turned into an incident if I wanted to.
Right.
But why would I want that? I'm there to do a comedy show. And so just let that shit cool off. Why do I got to go? And especially with people, because you don't know a lot of times what people have to lose. Some people have absolutely nothing to lose, and that's the way their life works.
Right.
Well, me, things are going well. You know, I've got 2 small dogs. I work. I was there to do a comedy or that time I was just doing a show, and I had other shows lined up in the Bay. So I don't have to make any kind of statement out of this.
Right.
I need to keep myself out of that situation.
And it would be making a statement on deaf ears, like,
yeah,
because I don't think you staying out there is going to make them be like, oh, well, I take back what I said earlier.
Yeah, and then there's, like, you know, there was like 3 or 4 of them all standing together, and
yeah, that's not a good sitch.
Yeah,
to be in. That's just not a good situation to be in.
But I see people that'll push that. But anyway, so the thing is, you can tell the difference between the way people say things and stuff like that, what their intention is. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't learned how to do that, and you're going to get offended because you're listening to Chris Rock tell some jokes that use the word fag, and you think that that's now hateful, or
so what does that mean? So now are people going to get mad about Eddie Murphy's first special? Like, how far back are we going to go?
Well, people were already mad not too long ago. I saw some guy try to post that not too long ago when Eddie Murphy was getting the Mark Twain Award. They wanted to punish him retroactively for, you know, homophobic stuff he said during Raw and the misogyny and, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like they're trying to make enemies out of people that have already, like, I don't know. Like, change history, like, by making these people bad.
Yeah, and also just continue to be like, I know that another unpopular thing.
I just feel like you could be like, why aren't you focusing your efforts on trying to change what's happening right now, as opposed to, like, getting mad about somebody's art that they made years ago?
Well, even the stuff they do right now, to me, is kind of a lot of missteps. This is why I'm not really down with the gay community. Like, when they were trying to make You know, when there was that big uproar about like wedding cakes and some places not wanting to make wedding cakes for gay couples and stuff like that, I felt like I don't want your gay hating hands in my wedding cake anyway. So I'm glad to know that because I don't need your terrible energy
Right.
going into my cake. I don't want to force you to make my cake. There's other places I can go that are happy to have my money. So why do I care about making you do it? What kind of statement am I trying to make? And do I, like, it's not the same as black people. And I'm so tired of white gays always trying to make it the same. It's just because white people want to feel not all white people. I know plenty of cool white people, level-headed white people that know their lane. But there are some white people out there,
there's
usually
a lot of
young
white people that,
20s,
like-
white people that want to feel marginalized.
Yeah. It's like they wish they were oppressed.
Yeah, and it's like, stop
they're
trying to
trying to-
find it in
So
everything.
they're trying to take the oppression from other people and put it on themselves.
Yeah. But I also had, in all fairness, I had a friend, my best friend in Phoenix, Jamel, who's would appear to be black to the outside world. He's actually dark-skinned Puerto Rican. But he is on the side of people having to make our cakes. But I just feel like I don't care about that. The only thing I want is for people to have to put a sign in the window that says that they reserve the right, and, you know,
Yeah.
so that all of my
So
friends...
like the opposite of like the little rainbow stickers in Key West on the, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So then it's just like, don't go here.
Yeah, and then all my friends see that little symbol, because you know it's spread on the internet like crazy right away.
Yeah.
So then all my friends and the people that support me don't end up going there. When they see that little symbol, they're like, okay, well, if Thai isn't welcomed here, then this isn't a place I want to patronize, and then they don't go there. And then eventually their business... I have faith that more people would be against that, and so would not go to that business, and I think it would end up being its own punishment because these businesses would just start shutting down, and they'd learn their lesson that way.
I mean, if they didn't notice how it was bad for Chick-fil-A, why wouldn't it be bad for them?
See,
it's
but
on a smaller scale.
that's the thing. I don't even know if it was bad for Chick-fil-A.
It wasn't?
I don't know. It seemed like Chick-fil-A just kept right on trucking.
Well, I mean, it's a hard to like, it's a huge...
And I was at Chick-fil-A like 2 weeks... 2 weeks after that shit happened. My friend said, we're going to Chick-fil-A, and I was like, yep, I guess
You're
we're
like,
going
there's
to
something
Chick-fil-A.
about that chicken and pickle that just pops.
I don't have time to be going on other people's like, we're not doing this. Fuck you. You know what I'm against? I'm against the circus. And I, like, the worst part about it is I love the circus. I love watching animals do cool stuff. But now that I've grown up and I know how that works and how they train them and how they don't live in the best conditions always, I just won't support the circus. But I don't get on my, like, if you were to tell me you're going to the circus, I wouldn't be like, do you know what I can't believe you would do this. It's like, go to the circus. That works for you. Just for me personally.
You could still tell them why you don't go.
If they asked, but
Yeah.
I don't have time to be trying to convert people to my thinking. Like, just, you know, I probably would just say, I don't feel like going to the circus. It's probably what I would do. Like, if a friend asked me, I'd be like, or I might say I don't go to the circus and then tell them why. But either way, my point is, it doesn't make these people all of a sudden the worst people in the world because they don't support your same cause or they don't.
Yeah, it does. It is hard to like just be in disagreement with someone without being villainized one way or another. In these times, it seems.
That's why I'm saying I think a lot of people need to grow up, honestly. That's really what I feel like needs to happen right now. Like, a lot of people really need to grow up and just be like, okay, this is my shit. This is where my shit ends. Yours begins. We don't have to look at things exactly the same way. There doesn't have to be a good guy, bad guy in the situation. Sometimes it's just we don't agree. People feel that way about Donald. Like, I know so many people that are voting for Donald Trump that won't say it openly because they don't want to deal with the backlash that's going to happen. And people can lose their jobs if somebody says that they're racist because they're supporting Trump. Like, their job isn't going to want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because that's what people think when they hear Trump. And I know that there's certain things he said that make people feel that way about him. But the fact that somebody supports him does not necessarily, it could not even be on the immigration thing that they're supporting him on. You know, that particular person. You don't know what that person's reason is, but you're suddenly assuming they're racist. And technically, to me, I think that if these borders are a little more secure, technically it will help Mexicans out, is what it'll do.
How so?
Because what's going to happen is it's not going to be possible for them to round up all 11 million people that are here illegally. That's just not going to happen. Everybody knows that. The wall might not even be possible because of what it's going to cost. And Mexico has already said that it's not going to pay for anything. And Mexico has a habit of not paying for shit. That's why they're all coming over here, or were coming over here, even though it's slowed down, you know.
Right.
Like, Mexico hasn't been good to its people for a long time, or done a lot for its own people. So I really don't think that they're going to pay for the wall. You know, so if you take those things into account and you think, okay, then all of that had to have been, or will at that point have had to have been, more of like a scare tactic and everybody get it together kind of situation. Then, yes, like what he's saying, the things that he can stick to, that most people, most logical people should be on board with, is if you've done anything, any kind of violent crime, you should be gone. That's the way it works. You can't bring that shit here. And when it comes to like homeless and crazy, we don't need that shit either. We have enough of those here. We don't need to import those. It's time for you to go back and be your country's problem. This is not your country. It's not our fault that you chose to come over here not having shit and then didn't do shit once you got here. Because there's plenty of people that are doing shit. So let's keep those people, because clearly we do need them. But let's get rid of the fucking riffraff, the ones that truly are hanging onto the system. That's why those are the people that are maddest. That's why those are the people that are throwing rocks and whatever the fuck else. Because they don't want to have to leave. They're the ones that really are going to legit have to leave.
What about there's people, because like there's like companies and shit that import, like they import illegal people to work here for super cheap. Mm-hmm. And like they never get in trouble. Like they never get in trouble for that shit.
But see, the thing is, if we start documenting people or figure out some way, because all of this, the thing that people don't understand is like all of this is going to take different kind of figuring out, because we'll be having to deal with something in a very real way that nobody's wanted to deal with for a long time. Like they don't even really keep numbers on what's coming through the borders. Like as far as Mexico goes, or the illegal, they don't even try to keep numbers over that. It's just something, if you look at the stats on that, because I tried to do like a lot of research at one point on this, and because of, I don't remember why it was exactly, but they don't like keep track. Mm-hmm. So it's like when you just have people, they have estimates, but even the estimate, I saw one of the estimates was outdated from like, I think it said 2013 or 2009, I can't remember, but it was like something where it's like, oh, those are the numbers we're still going on? You know, like those are the last.
Oh, wow.
Or most recent. And so
all those numbers, they're all just bullshit then?
Well, we don't know exactly. It's estimates is what it is. It's all just estimates. Mm-hmm. I'll look it up and tell you next episode, because believe me, I'm talking off of, like, I have terrible retention, but I remember like the bigger ideas, or you know what I mean, like the main points, and I'll tell you exactly what I was talking about. But so with that being the case, with us not even really knowing what's coming through, how are we supposed to figure out the healthcare situation? Like if we don't know what the numbers are we're working with, how do we know what people are supposed to pay and the way stuff is supposed to work out? How do we know what we're making up for in certain situations?
Well, how would they be getting insurance if they're not documented?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're going to have to figure out how we're going to document them. But the first step is getting some of the riffraff out and figuring out exactly what we do have. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, you know, yeah, I don't... The way things would fuck up if you really did try to take people out of here. Like they try to... I was reading... I'm so terrible with facts. Like Alabama, I think it was, or maybe it was Mississippi, where they really did like an effective, where they made the law so it was so hard for illegal people to work that they did just have to leave.
Oh, right. Like where they really like cracked down on it and
Yeah.
tried to like implement minimizing the amount of them that are there.
Yeah, and there were certain jobs that Americans just would not do.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't do it, even for, you know, regular minimum wage, or like they just wouldn't do it. So, to a certain degree, we need people. And I feel like there are a lot of people here that I think there's definitely more good illegal immigrants than there are bad.
Right.
I definitely do feel like there are plenty of people that are legitimately here trying to make life better for themselves.
So how do you decipher? Like, how do you know that? Like, if they're all if they're
Well,
undocumented,
if they committed a crime,
but how do you know if they've committed a crime or not?
because that's part of the problem is there's what's called sanctuary cities, and the sanctuary cities don't hold on to illegals so that they can get run the way that they're supposed to. So that's why you end up hearing about people like getting in trouble, getting released, and then in a lot of cases it's just 24 hours, or it's 24 hours that people are that, like, I think FBI or immigration is asking for to actually be able to run these people. But in LA they don't do that. In different places they don't do it. So if you're not, like, what's the point of us paying for everything that goes into border control or border patrol if we're not going to pay attention to it, if we're not going to actually enforce any of it? It's just sort of like, oh, okay, so you made it here, so I guess now you're a citizen, or you just stay undocumented
Well, isn't
and
the
in
process
limbo.
like ridiculously like tedious and redundant and all this?
Well, that
stuff?
needs to be worked on. I get that all of this needs to be worked on.
Yeah.
Like, when people bring this up, I don't feel at all like, I have all the answers. But I
Right,
think
no.
that a good place to start off is, yes, starting to see what we actually do have. And if that has to be some sort of scare where everybody feels like, they're going to. But and in the end, it's like, really, I don't think anybody has anything to be afraid of, because the president is only going to be able to do so much himself anyway.
Right.
It's not like the president just has a magic wand and now he can do all these things. I just think it's a good way for us to start working and looking. Is like with Hillary, of course she wants everybody here. Those are the people that will continue to vote Democrat. A lot of them, in a lot of cases, like, that's what they're trying to do with that, is make it so, like, we're the party that'll take care of you. We're going to make sure we don't break up these families. Never mind the fact that your mother's never going to be able to make over minimum wage, because she's always going to be illegal and undocumented.
Yeah.
These people are living in limbo in a lot of cases, and it's not fair to them either. That's why the system's able to take advantage of them. So then start thinking bigger is the way I see it. Start thinking bigger in the way, like you mentioned, with the corporations and stuff. No, you can't have that anymore. They have to be documented. You have to pay them a fair wage.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how far it trickles down. Everybody's got to be making a fair wage. And that's like a big thing to think about, or like a lot of people would say that that's probably close to impossible or whatever. But why don't we try for fucking impossible?
Well, yeah, then you can at least achieve more than if you didn't.
Yeah, and if we're really, because I really am down for other Latinos, and like, especially, like, I really am. I do really want to see my people get ahead, but sometimes I just see bad enabling behavior, and I don't really understand it. Like, when people say, like, encourage people to, like, oh no, you don't have to speak English, no, speak English. You're in the United States, and don't speak English for racist reasons. Don't forget your culture. Nobody's telling you to forget you speak Spanish. Use that too. But if you're bilingual in this country, you're going to make even more money than if you're, even just speak English. Or not, well, in a lot of cases you will make more money, because I know that there's certain jobs where you do get paid a little bit extra because you can deal with both
languages.
Yeah. So
and that's what's crazy, is because, like, over in Europe, usually, like, the average person knows several languages.
Yeah, and like a lot of Americans, we're not going to learn Spanish. We're just not. So if you insist on speaking Spanish, you can do that, but you're going to have limited opportunities in the United States.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to learn English because I want to help you out, not because I'm being racist, not because I'm telling you to forget your culture. Just help yourself out so you don't have to work for the 99-cent store for the rest of your life.
Well, if I moved to Japan, I wouldn't just want the country to all speak English.
They wouldn't.
Well, they won't.
Nobody else would. We're the only ones that try to make that seem like it's racist, or it's not, like we're being rude in some way. It's like, no, go to any other country. Go to Mexico itself and just start speaking English and decide that you're just going to speak English only. See how long they put up with your ass. Well,
They don't take kindly to the chimichangas over there.
we talked about a lot of stuff, Carmen.
We have.
I wonder if I got us in trouble a couple of times.
I don't know.
Just so everybody knows, this is my voice. And
This is my voice.
that's Carmen's voice. So make sure that if you get mad about anything, you know it was me that said it. So take it out on me. Don't take it out on Carmen. I didn't know I was going to have a guest today after all, but I'm happy that you made it,
I
Carmen.
crashed your Unbothered party.
We had fun. I was unbothered by you crashing Unbothered.
Which is rare. I bother you pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was great getting to chat with you.
Mm-hmm.
And
I had fun.
I'll have you on again.
Okay.
And we'll chat again if you think of any follow-up questions or anything that I didn't answer.
If I think of anything else.
I know I was a little scattered today. Some of my facts weren't, but I didn't know we were going to chat about all this shit.
I didn't either.
Yeah. It was good, though.
It was fun.
Yeah, so
We went through it together.
anyway, guys, we all know I don't pretend to be smart, so enjoy the attitude. Thanks for listening.
Unbothered.
What was it?
Unbothered by ThaiRivera, you guys.
Unbothered by ThaiRivera.
There you go. Thank you.